So yesterday I spent most of the day just trying to get the door frames and everything done. I've got some trim pieces to stain still. Actually, Sydney stained them last night. I got to put some poly on them. But it'll wrap around this corner to give me a thickened edge. But boy, these pieces that come out from the door was a real pain. Remember on the windows, so you can see this here on the windows, this piece is able to flex with the wall. So I could just cut all my pieces coming out from the window at the same depth, and then that outside trim piece would move and sway with the wall in case the wall was bowed at all. With the doors, I can't do that, and that's what took me so long. So I had to cut this piece exactly to the edge of the drywall because that piece that goes on, I'll show you this later, it doesn't move and sway. It doesn't conform to the wall. So I've got to make it as exact as possible. So that was a lot of aggravating cuts. And when I cut the first board, put it through the table saw, and it goes and crossed over it, and it was warped really bad, but I was able to make it work. So this door is done up too. Just got to get the outside trim pieces in there, and then I can go ahead and knock out the flooring, and then maybe I'll get us some time to work on this cased opening here. All that wood out there is for the ceiling. My shoulder is still killing me. I don't think I've talked about it for a while, but it does not feel good. I was supposed to get an MRI, and I actually backed out from that because everyone I talked to, they're like, oh yeah, you tear your rotator cuff, it hurts for a while. And I'm pretty sure I tore it, like I said, a year and a half or so ago, and it did get better. Sometimes I canceled the MRI because I didn't want to have to go through surgery. I figured it's going to heal eventually and I'll be okay. But so I've been trying to work, and it hurts. Some days it hurts more than other days. Anyways, so out here, I'd spent one day getting this up before the pain got to me too bad. There's kind of that vent I think I showed you when I was putting the venting in. It's the same thing I did on the deck. Got our soffits and everything in there. But I spray painted up inside there black so that if you're looking up here, you're not going to be able to see anything. Anyways, it's vented there. I've got to take that vent off, and I was going to put an external motor out here instead of the motor inside where the kitchen is. That's the blower over the oven, over the range. So that's our exhaust vent. So I was going to take the motor and actually mount it out here. That way we should hear less air movement inside from the fan. And I've got to put a louver vent up there, which I've already got and painted. I'll eventually go over to this side. You can see there where I've painted that black, so you can't see when you're looking up in there. Yeah, it's a little details. And I've got to get the fireplace done up over here before I cover this up. I've got to finish ducting that. So that's the duct from the fireplace. I've got to duct one of those into that room, and then one into the room up there, which is where our office is. So I've got to get that done before I wrap around to this side too. Should have all that done before winter is the goal. So really trying to stretch this out. And I got to finish that, and I got to finish the fireplace. There's a lot to do. But it was just, again, we just had a ridiculously hot summer. And you just don't want to work outside when it's hot. So now we're getting to fall, and weather's nice and cool, and can be outside all day and work and not sweat. It's great. Well, these are the corner pieces that I've been working on. Sydney stained them yesterday. I just went and got one coat of poly on them. So I've got to do a quick sanding and a second coat of poly, and then hopefully they'll be ready to go up. Getting the color consistent on these is pretty hard, so we'll see how they look when I get them up against the actual door frames and everything, but should be okay. The reason why I'm sanding these boards is when you first put your stain on there and you put your first coat of poly, all the fibers just stick out of the boards. So if I feel along here, I can feel it's got some roughness to it. After I've sanded down, it's really smooth, and then after you put the poly on it, it's even smoother. Typically I do a third coat as well just to even the poly out. Makes it look really good. One thing I think I probably didn't describe very well is how we're doing the trim. This So this is just a 1x3 piece of stain. So if this goes up against my wall and my wall waves around, on the base trim, I can put this cove on top. And when you push it against the wall, this is such a small piece, it will bow back and forth with the wall. So my reveal on top could be, you know, 1/8 of an inch, it could be 1/4 of an inch, but this will meander back and forth with the wall, and it makes things go really smooth. I don't have to try and cut everything perfectly. But when I'm working on the doors, it has to be cut perfectly because this piece fits perfectly flush, just like that. So it would look like this coming down the side of the wall or the door. This with the door trim. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is that there's the base trim coming and it'll butt up against the side. Let me grab another board for that. Okay, so here's a scrap piece of the wood we're using for the base trim. So if my door trim comes down like this, I got this thicker edge on it, and the base trim comes up and butts against it, it has a nice dead end to disappear into. If I did it just like this, I'm going to have that odd seam there, and you're never going to get that straight. It's going to kind of be fluctuated back and forth whether it's, the base trim is twisted or not. But using a piece like that, it'll disappear in there. It doesn't matter if this is twisted a little bit because the thickness of this outer trim piece is going to hide it. And then on top of that, this piece would line up there. So it would look like that in the end. And this should eliminate any types of gaps or weird spaces and things like that. But the problem I ran into yesterday was when I was cutting these boards, you know, up against the back of the wall, this has to be perfect. It can't meander back and forth with inconsistencies in the wall because this piece doesn't flex and bend. This is a 90-degree angle. It's not going to bend like this piece would. This piece flexes quite a bit. So I had to cut those pieces from the door to the edge of the drywall just perfect. It took forever to get that just right. I'm not looking forward to doing all the doors in the house, but this is the only way I can think of to make that transition look correctly. Okay, I'll give you a tip here for when you're cutting these. So you can't just, you know, place these down or hold them up like that or hold them up like this and cut them. Because what's going to happen when that blade hits it, you're just going to chunk a big piece off of that. So I've got some spare blocks from some of the trim that I've done, and this is the same depth. So all I have to do is lay the block inside my trim piece. It holds it nice and tight, and I'll cut back in here somewhere, and that gives support to the trim piece so it doesn't get blown out. So by doing that, you get a lot cleaner cut on these kind of awkward trim pieces. Also, all I'm doing is I cut everything long, and then I'll come back, you know, and I'll cut a piece, move it, cut a piece, move it, and I'll just slowly keep moving this down until I get to the measurement that I need. And I don't even trust a tape measure. I'll walk back and forth 10-15 times and keep measuring this over and over again until I get it exactly the way I want. Usually, like on the base trim, or even on the window trim, I'll cut one corner and then I'll just seam it in the middle like that because you really can't see it that much, especially if you get nice clean cuts in there. I could do that here, but because this is such a visual piece, you can see on here that the real difference in the grain. And I just don't think that I can get two pieces to line up just right to where you're not going to see that seam it's not very noticeable on the base trim. But this trim definitely did not stain like anything else. It's much more blonder. It's almost a little bit gray when you put it next to the other stuff. You can kind of see how much darker this is. Almost has some red to it. This is very blonde, and occasionally it looks like it has some gray in it, which is kind of weird. But trying to match up the best I can, use the really far off pieces in places like closets and stuff like that, so it's not going to be so noticeable. So I'm trying to get the best pieces I can for the dining room because it's going to be very noticeable there. So I got this one last piece to cut. This is my top piece. and then I'll be ready to switch back over to base trim. Okay, now I got some of the trim, and I'm going to show you what I was talking about earlier, about dead ending. So I just put my little top piece in there, and again you can see here I can push this in towards the wall so if it bows out, it creates a good seam. And then here I got this seam actually really good. It was just took a lot of patience. Anyways, this is that corner trim, and this is where the base will dead end into it. Because this sticks out a little bit farther, I'm not going to have a weird seam there. You know, two just cut pieces coming together was kind of weird. So this makes a nice transition. Everything dead ends into there, and it goes ahead and it wraps up and around the door. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. But it's shaping up really good. This room has turned out really nice. So probably here in another day or so, we'll go ahead and get the dining room table in here and our first meal.